My next Patreon question is from Joshua, who wants me to compare two films about famous ball players. Between the following two not-so-well-received biopics about a flawed baseball legend, which is better, The Babe or Cobb? I actually really like baseball movies, which is interesting, as it's not a sport I find myself following. Yet there's something cinematic about baseball that lends itself to being portrayed in movies, so I was definitely intrigued to compare these two films. Both of them are heavily flawed, albeit for different reasons. Regarding which one I prefer, I would say Cobb. Before I started watching Cobb, I assumed it would be a traditional biopic about Ty Cobb. Aside from a few flashback scenes, the film is entirely set during a period when sports writer Al Stump was hired to work on his autobiography. That's an intriguing setup, and through the first act it tackles the notion of depicting the dark side of a revered celebrity and the effect this has on Stump. Tommy Lee Jones goes all out in portraying Cobb and showing many of his flaws. However, as the film played on, it just became a series of unpleasant scenes of Cobb being sexist, racist, and violent. Aside from occasional scenes depicting a traumatizing incident in his childhood, there is not much insight into why he's so terrible. At a certain point, I wondered why we were watching this character. I think there's a way to depict an unlikable protagonist. Martin Scorsese has done it well plenty of times, but Cobb just felt repetitive after a while, so we watch him do one bad thing after another. Afterwards, I looked up some of the true story, and Stump's depiction of Cobb in his book, The Life and Times of the Meanest Man in Baseball, has been called into question by other sports historians and largely discredited. For example, the movie portrays Cobb as racist towards black people and black athletes. However, I read that he was actually extremely supportive of black baseball players during his lifetime, and he even said they should be allowed to play with white teams at a time when baseball was racially segregated. The film portrays Ty Cobb as a complete monster, and while he was known for having violent confrontations during his career, he was also said to have many good qualities, which are not depicted in this movie. I thought the film as a whole was okay, but reading more about Cobb and Stump does cloud the finished product. As for The Babe, this one goes for the usual biopic approach, partly to its detriment. It's the very standard cradle-to-grave routine as it tells us this happened, then this happened, then this happened. Babe Ruth is a legendary figure in baseball, but this film does not explore that much what made him such a brilliant athlete. Even his frequent womanizing is shown to us without really exploring why he did it so much. John Goodman does try his best at playing Babe, although I thought the makeup and prosthetics made him look closer to Buddy Hackett than Babe Ruth. I think some of the best scenes in the film are the ones between Ruth and his first wife Helen, with Trini Alvarado giving a good performance. I also found the scene where Ruth runs 2 home runs for Sick Boy to be quite heartwarming. Beyond that, the film mostly jumps from one part of Ruth's life to the next. For example, we watch a scene where Boston Red Sox owner Harry Frazee is talking to a couple of men about his financial problems, and then it immediately cuts to Ruth being sold to the New York Yankees. That's apparently all we need to know about this massive change in his life and career. The infamous Curse of the Bambino that resulted in the Red Sox losing the World Series until 2004, and is often blamed on this event, also was not important enough to be reflected on in this film about Babe Ruth. The film tries really hard to condense Babe Ruth's life and career into the hour and 55-minute runtime, but so much gets lost as a result. I was even disappointed in the baseball scenes, which are directed in such a flat and uninteresting way with little excitement. Like I said at the start of the video, baseball films are great, and I usually rank them as some of the best sports movies. Some of my favorites include Field of Dreams, The Pride of the Yankees, Moneyball, The Natural, The Bad News Bears, and the 1951 version of Angels in the Outfield. These two movies try their best to depict these two legendary players, but don't scratch the surface of what made them so famous on the diamond. Anyway, what do you think is better, Cobb or The Babe? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for your question, Joshua.